Well, hello, good morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning on and it's the 28th. And I'm laying here watching Life Below Zero, folks. And what day was it? Uh, Sunday? Yesterday, Brad came over. Sunday, Brad came over with Gypsy and Ruby, and Gypsy gets so excited when she sees me. Her leash, she was pulling on it, and the leash caught my top refrigerator. Darn near knocked it on the floor and knocked some other stuff on the floor. But anyway, John and Brad packed up and moved down to Dallas to some lofts down there. And John was such a good friend, saved my life. And there was a black spot on TV here where I lost my light. So anyway, sounds like I'm getting bushy. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here as my time evolves here. I think I'm gonna move here one of these days soon. I was looking at the rents down where John moved, and I don't think it's much cheaper. The parking they may have more open parking in a big garage in that building. But anyway, I went over to say goodbye to John, not to make a scene, but I'm not quite sure when he quit talking, why he quit talking. But anyway, I thanked him for saving my life a couple times and all that. So my light went. So anyway, yeah, I have a little LED USB light that is right next to my bed here. So anyway, John told me that Brad shouldn't bother to say goodbye to me, and he said, well, I know. I said, thanks for saving my life and all the things that you've done for me. And he says, oh, I know all that. So where I live right now, I moved to because I wanted to be close to him, and it's on the second floor. But the day he picked me up off the floor after I'd been there for 14 hours, he literally saved my life, and he got me to the proper care. And then when I got out of that care, he had my life situated so that he fixed up my shower for ADA, so I had an ADA compliant shower. So, sorry, I do have a disability now. My left side, my left arm barely moves, barely works, and my left shoulder is shot. I have an extremely aggravated tear, in rotator cuff tear, and I saw the shoulder specialist about it. But the shoulder specialist told me it's beyond repair and not a candidate for replacement surgery, which is a drag. But I can't use my left hand to type anymore. I used to type about 70 words a minute, but my brain's still there. So anyway, I'm not one to cry much, but I'm going to cry a little bit here tonight. Because John, when you have a really close friend like that, he used to call me every day after work and in between airports. He used to call me, and we used to talk about his life and my life. And then he came to my rescue that day. I know I was important to him at one point, and I think he feels betrayed or something. That may be why he walked away. So I know I'm going to have to get situated differently. I messed my truck up here about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Tore it all up on the left-hand side with my left side deficit. So Geico, I did a collision claim on my truck, and Geico paid me about $6,000. The dealership paid me $18,000 on it, but so I went and got a different vehicle. I got a 2023 Ford Bronco Scout Big Bend Edition. So anyway, I'm feeling real lonely, and I don't feel as safe as I did when John was here, because before I could just call John and he could be here in about 3 or 4 minutes, as long as it took him to throw on a pair of shorts and come over and knock on my door. So he's thrown me to the hospital on more than one occasion, and John, you're going to be really missed, and very, very seldom do I grieve about things like this, but this one I'm gonna. And so, folks, I don't. I called my friend of 48 years, Gary, from Ainsworth, my high school classmate, who I've known since 1974. And I told him about it, and Gary and I speak quite frequently, usually several times a week. But Gary said, well, gay guys are like that, dude. He said they just do weird shit. And I said, you think? He said, well, that's been my experience from the gay people I know, he says. So anyway, John, Brad, I thought Brad was gracious to at least come say goodbye. And I told him, I said, John's not talking to me. And Brad was optimistic, and he said, well, I said, John's not talking to me. And Brad said to me, well, he may come around. He may come around. And we'll see. That's what happened before he, here about 3 or 4 years ago, we got into it because he was complaining about helping me with my shaving. I had somebody to shave my back because I'm just a hairy beast and I hate all that hair, and have been shaving since I was very young. So anyway, and we were talking, and it wasn't about the shaving when we had our falling out before. It was about whether or not he had made gains with the help I had given him. And I said, well, of all the people I've helped, you've done the most poorly. And he got mad. But anyway, I was in the hospital here before it all fell apart. And the doctor said they wanted to keep me there 4 more days. And I said, what's up with that? I said, I don't need a big hospital bill. And I probably wouldn't if I got really good insurance. But anyway, they wanted to keep me there for 4 more days while they waited on some tests. And I said, is it going to make the test go any faster? And I said, is it still going to take 4 days? I said, is there any advantage to being here for 4 days? And she said, no, we can just get you dried out a little more. And of course, the Indian nurse there, she's like, you need to be here on being diuresed. And I'm like, no, that's way too much Lasix. Plus, I didn't want a big bill. But now, I know that there's an end of life on, I knew this to begin with, but there's an end of life on my disability insurance that I bought for work. And that day is coming. And I mapped it all out on my budget, how much I can afford to spend every month. And I'm considering maybe moving back to Louisville if I can find a way to pull it off and get the right people to help me. It might be a lot cheaper because my rent here is ends up being about $17.78 after my parking place and after my garbage and after I pay for my amenities. My electric isn't too much. I contracted it, and it averages about $120 a month, as long as I don't put the heat all the way up. But I've had some $180, $190 bills, so I could heat it up. But anyway, sorry to be yawning on camera, but oh my God, John, I will miss you so much. And I think actually John's been pretty good with enduring relationships, because he was with David, I think, 17 years, and then, and anytime, from the way Brad told it, I clearly mattered to John because he knocked my door down the day that he couldn't get in touch with me. And I didn't call him. He kept calling me because he was concerned. Thanks for picking me up off the floor, John. Thanks for getting me into treatment. Thanks for helping me when I got out of rehab with my stroke. Thank you so much. And thanks for setting my shower up. And thanks for taking me to the hospital after that when I got out of whack later on. So anyway, thank you. Thank you so much. You will be missed. You will be missed. And it's late and I'm tired and I know I need to rest. And the car dealership is coming tomorrow to put the tint on my vehicle, my different vehicle that I bought. That's part of the deal. It's part of the deal. And I shopped the payment, but the payment isn't more than I can afford given the amount that I'm bringing in right now. But I'm hopefully going to finagle my budget, finesse it enough that that I'll pay this vehicle off right away. I paid so far. I've paid about $7,000 on it. I had a settlement from Geico, and then I had money in the bank, and so I threw that money in the bank at the vehicle over the weekend. So about $7,000 I paid down so far on it. But with I did such a long term to keep the payment down, and I have an 814 credit score, and then John would chew me out for saying that too. But Brad, I'm hopeful that you're right. I'm hopeful that one of these days John just turns around and picks up the phone, and he calls me up, and we can pick up where we left off. He's hugely missed, and believe it or not, you will be missed a little bit too. And Brad, I always felt that Brad was a little bit jealous of me. But John's very forgiving, and I thought they were done after John showed me the pictures he took of. John had gone down to a gay-only resort, and he changed his mind and came back, and he caught Brad with another guy, and got pictures of it all, and he showed them to me, of course. And every bit of that drama he's ever had with Brad and with his other friends, I was pretty much in on, because he would call me and want me to do some of his investigative work and so on. But anyway, world, my friend moved away. I am sad. I'm very sad. I'm not suicidal or anything stupid like that, or feeling like doing anything stupid, but I will be missed. The guy that saved my life and was so kind to me and helped me out so much, moved away now. I don't feel as safe here as I once did, about 5 days ago, because they moved. Let's see, was it yesterday they were here? Or Sunday, was it? I think it was yesterday. Because today's not Monday, but would have been Sunday. And so, anyway, that's all I have to say. Brad came over. I was so surprised to see. Would have so surprised to see Brad at my door on my Ring doorbell. So, folks, I miss my mom a lot. She was super cool. I was crushed when Logan left, and I don't think I'm as crushed as that, because I've been through this before. And my mom passed away. Look, I can kind of regard it as John having died. That's the way I'm going to have to cope with it. And then I got myself lined up with Vocational Rehab of Texas now, to try to work from home and still stay under the SSDI limit. SSDI and Social Security are, I talked about taking my retirement at 62, but I don't know how much I could get out right now. It's hard telling. Social Security couldn't tell me, but it probably wouldn't be. It's not as much as my disability check, which is my disability check's a pretty good chunk of change every month. It's annually it's 60% of $130,000. So it's about $80,000 a year I pull out. $79,000, I think it is. So I financed $23,000, but at the end of the finance, it's $30,000 to finance it. So I'm trying to get it. That's why I paid $7,000 down on it, because I want to get that interest down, because that's what kills you. And I've been looking close. I did a spreadsheet, which took me considerable thought and just manipulation. I did a spreadsheet on what my inflow is and my outflow, and I tried to account for every little thing from electric to HBO to you name it. So anyway, John, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everyone watching, this is my world now. I once was bodybuilding, and now I'm laying here in bed trying to get to sleep and not very comfortable. My shoulder hurts. And my foot's going to sleep. But anyway, I'm not carrying a lot of fluid tonight. I got lucky. I've been taking a little more diuretic consistently. They took me off of Lasix because they had one doctor who gave me so much Lasix I was bleeding, and I ended up in the hospital. And one of the doctors I could go to, he's a urologist. His name's Dr. Danawala over here in Plano. And Dr. Danawala says that when you take that much of Lasix, it causes blood to clot in your kidneys, and then that's what happens, is you end up peeing blood. So I looked down here, and I had blood all over my shorts one day. And so I called John and said, John, I'm bleeding out of my penis. And so I went to the hospital. But John and Jessica and Richard, John's two best friends, and John doesn't regard Richard very highly. But anyway, when John quit talking to me, they did too. You know, kind of follow the leader sort of thing. And John's pretty good at. I'm gonna miss you really bad. I'm gonna miss you really, really bad, dude. So the thing that hurts the most is I know you're not actually dead. I know you're just down the street, and I know Brad told me the complex you're moving to looks like a neat place to live. And I looked at all the rents there, and I see they had a rental special that you had to be in by the 31st of March in order to get it. It was, I think, a free month. And as I recall, John's rent, your rent here wasn't getting any cheaper. 2 garages and 2 parking places John had here. And we have garbage disposal, a lot of amenities here. A lot of those amenities I don't use anymore. I haven't been over to the gym. My body composition has completely changed. Where I was all muscular and had a big old neck and shoulders and traps before. Now I'm all shriveled up like a prune, as you can see, because I've lost so much weight. So I've gone on here for 18 minutes, and if you've been patient enough to watch this, great. If not, well, have a great day anyway. Hopefully one of these days soon I'll have an update and get my life in a different way. You know, life has its peaks and valleys. When I went to Phoenix, I had no money. I spent 2 years homeless. When I came here, I had $82, and I ended up making $250,000 a year almost. And so times change. And now I'm getting too old to really, I can't do a lot of things with this left arm. I'm trying to lift it up here right now, and it just doesn't want to lift, doesn't want to work. It doesn't, my left arm, and sometimes it gets spasms and just sits there and shakes, which is kind of weird. So, all right. I'm done, John. You'll be missed. You too, Brad. Okay. And so tonight I'm going to cry a little bit for you, John. See you later. Bye-bye.